guys, and welcome to another brand new video. Today's video is my review for the K-drama Blood. I very nearly took this drama seriously in the beginning, you know, with the grave digging and the war zone, but then the slow-mo scarf pull down happened and I literally choked on air laughing, like, what? I'm not gonna lie, the shots of his powers also made me snort a little bit, and let's just say the show really likes slow-mo and extreme close-ups. Full disclosure, I only made it 3 episodes into this. That is 3 episodes out of 20 before I gave up on it and DNF'd it. So rather than reviewing this drama the way I usually do with the different sections, I'm going to split it into just 2, which is what I did like and what I didn't, and everything that I usually encompass is going to be mixed into that, but bear in mind that this is literally just based on 3 episodes. So what I did like was that the vampirism in this series was very scientific. It was a disease, people were infected with it. It was very nicely explained with the science, and it made a change from the usual, you know, he's a vampire. Just because someone turned him and that person's been a vampire for 100 years, they clearly put a lot of effort into it and a lot of thought. I'm going to assume that the bad guy's plot was to infect everyone because he thought it would be better to be a vampire and would, like, stop disease and whatnot. And I would have seen that play out if I'd made it all the way through the series, which could have been interesting and would have been an interesting route to go, but obviously I didn't make it that far. That is literally all I have for what I did like about this series. Now, moving on to what I didn't like. As for what I didn't like, first of all, I am going to say that I am well aware that this is an older K-drama, so I have given it some leeway, which is why I am not going after it for the absolutely terrible CG that they had at some points. Like, you know, the wolves and then the background in the car. Well, I'm just ignoring that, I'm not going to touch it. But the background music, at some point, there was a very specific piece of background music that really, to my ear, sounded like a Pokemon game or like one of those older games when you meet, like, the villain and it gets all tense and everything. It literally sounded like game music. It was supposed to be intense, but all I could focus on in the scene was that background music, and I was thinking, Pokemon? Is that you? The first episode alone had me laughing so hard that I was crying. Like, actually having to wipe my eyes. There were literal tears streaming down my face because I was laughing so hard. Like, nothing was particularly funny, and I'm sure I was laughing at things that were supposed to be serious, which made it even funnier to me, which made me laugh even harder. Like, I don't know if I was just in a funny mood or what, but I just found it so hysterical. Possibly because some things were a little bit ridiculous. Like, you know, the bullets just popping out of his back and then his little henchman being like, Young, are you okay? Like, bitch, he just got hit by a bomb because your annoying ass couldn't hang up the phone. How do you think he is? That entire scene literally just had me wheezing. When he gets shot and, like, the bullets pop out and then he gets hit by the bomb and he gets up and he's, like, walking slow-mo. Oh my god, I was literally wheezing and just, oh, it was just so funny. It wasn't supposed to be funny, but I just found it so absurdly hilarious. The other thing that had me cackling was, you know, I was so here and so curious about the science with the vampirism and all of that, and I was waiting to see the vamp fangs and to see how they were gonna do it, and then the guy bled, and where his blood dropped, grass started to grow, complete with magical little sparkle effect, and I was literally just like, what the fuck am I watching? I could not decide if it was better or worse than Twilight with the sparkling vampires. Speaking of Twilight, there was this scene with these really bad CG wolves that literally came straight out of a Twilight movie. I swear to you, I was watching it just like, is this a revamped Twilight? What is going on? To be perfectly honest with you, he came across more as a flower-blooming werewolf than a vampire, in the beginning at least anyway. Like, the eyes and the nails, that seemed way more werewolf to me than vampire, and then, you know, we obviously switched to the whole, oh, why is his body temperature so cold? Oh no, blood thing, and then it was like, yeah, okay, he's definitely a vampire, but he was kind of like a cross between a vampire and a werewolf, at least in my honest opinion. Other ridiculous things in this show, just from the first 3 episodes, include, but are not limited to, first of all, the fact his bed just randomly emitted smoke. Like, it was just there and it was like lit up and there was just smoke coming out of it, and I was just like, why? Then there's the robot Lovey. Why is there a robot? Why is the robot necessary? I can only assume that the drama was supposed to be really serious, and that the robot was going to be like the comic relief and the humour, and you know, add another interesting aspect to the show. But honestly, for me, it just added to the hilarity. It's literally too ridiculous. I can't take it seriously. That being said, the robot was probably one of the better things about the show, so maybe I should have included that in things I did like, but at the same time, you know, why? Then there was the whale noises. The whale noises, or possibly, as one person pointed out, what could have been a dolphin mating call, apparently signals to our main vampire when other vampires are near. A whale noise. An actual whale noise. I lost it when I figured that out. I fully 100% lost it and actually started choking because I was laughing so much. I mean, a whale noise, are you kidding me? Like, you would think with the vampire they might do like a bat noise, but no, they went with a whale noise. I have never before had whales associated with vampires. There's a first time for everything. Honestly, I had no idea what the fuck was going on in the first episode. Like, we jumped from our MC in the present, then we went to the past, to the US, with some random bad dudes, and how did I know that they were bad dudes? That would be because, you know, the all black, the hoods, the stomping on the kids' candy kind of gave it away within the first few minutes. We basically jumped through time and from place to place. We were with our MC in a war zone, and then we were in the US, and then someone was dying, and then we were in the woods, and then there were these CG Twilight Wolves, and then he was fighting the Twilight Wolves, and then the girl was injured, and then we were like back in the present, and it was what is happening? It was just a lot to take in, and I still didn't really get the vampirism thing at this point, so I was kind of like, okay, right, why are they after his dad? I still don't really understand. On the one hand, it did set things up and things were alluded to that would presumably play out in coming episodes, but on the other hand, I was kind of like, okay. And I could kind of see some of the path the story was going to take just from that. Like, you know, the little girl he met was quite obviously going to end up being the love interest. Our male lead Ji-sang was quite funny, even if he did have jerk-like tendencies at some points, and was, you know, cold, literally, as well as, you know, personality-wise. But much like why his father died, what I really do not get, and possibly would understand if I watched the series the whole way through, is why the bad guy is so hell-bent on him, and like why the bad guy is after him. I really don't understand. Like, from what I can see, just because he was born and not made, like, okay, so that might be a valid reason for going after him, but like, why? What does this have to do with the whole turning everyone into vampires thing? I really, really, really did not get it, and it was one of the things that just completely, I was just like, I don't get it, and it's kind of annoying me because I don't get it. Like, can someone explain? As for our female lead, Rita, I had a complicated relationship with her. I had a bit of a struggle with her. I am all for strong, badass ladies, but honestly, I felt like she was a bit of a cow. She is so arrogant and has such a huge ego that she is chilling in this surgery, wittering on about this party after she refused to listen to what the male lead said, and she literally was not even paying 100% attention in this surgery, and I was kind of just like, what are you doing? I could be behind her going against him and ignoring what he said, and I could be behind her attitude and everything if she hadn't done that, because I watched that and I was kind of just like, right, so if you were my surgeon, I would sue you, because I would expect you to fully concentrate, not stand there having a conversation about a party while you are cutting me open and you already haven't listened and it's a risky surgery. Do you know what I mean? Then there was the interview with that girl, and she was so smug and like, I'm better than you vibes, that it really actually annoyed me, and I found her quite dislikable. At the same time, I was prepared to, you know, get to know her, see another side of her, see her perhaps change and get rid of some of her ego and her arrogance. I was prepared for that, but obviously I didn't make it that far. So for me, for the first 3 episodes, she was really dislikable, which also made it very hard to watch because I got quite frustrated watching her. I think she pissed me off the most when she had the cheek to ask for his mental health report or record or whatever it was to be released, and was going off on him about his attitude and calling him childish, when she herself has a really bad attitude, definitely acts childish and is kind of spoiled and uses her uncle to get everything she wants. The amount of times in the first 3 episodes you saw her go to her uncle to try and get what she wanted or to try and get him fired was ridiculous. As for our bad guy, I'm not entirely sure what his name is because I really wasn't paying attention at this point. He was creepy and kind of gross. He was also constantly swirling wine about in a glass and spouting off these philosophical tangents that honestly I had no time for, and I was like, do we really need this in the story? But okay, if you want to drag it out for 20 episodes, I guess I see why. I really, really wanted to make it through this because I'd heard so many people saying it was cute and the romance was adorable and that it was a really, really good show. But because it had a rating of like 9 point whatever on Viki, I assumed it was as good as everyone was saying it was. And I was curious to see how it would be done because obviously the vampire genre over here, we've had Vampire Diaries and Twilight and it's all a bit samey, except for the sparkling vampires. So I was determined to watch it, but I struggled so hard to make it through the first 3 episodes. Like, I think it took me 4 or 5 days to make it through the first 3 episodes. I was first of all going to force myself to 5 episodes, and then I was kind of like, do you know what, I will just watch the entire series just so I can do a proper review and see how it plays out and, you know, give it a fair chance. But when I thought that, I thought there was only like 12 episodes or 16 episodes. It turned out there were 20, and when I found out there was 20, I was like, no god, no, I cannot make it through 20 episodes of this drama. I cannot do it. Especially because as I was watching it, I could not see how this drama could stretch out to 20 episodes. Maybe at some point in the future I will go back and I will try and finish it in my own time, maybe alongside me watching another drama. If that does happen, I will obviously do a new review, reviewing the whole series, and my opinion might have changed. So, despite this not being a full review, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know down below what you thought of Blood if you have watched it. Does it get better? Is it worth me going back and watching again? Let me know down below. Also, feel free to recommend me some other Halloween K-dramas, perhaps some other vampire dramas. I will link all of my social media down below so you can come and chat to me on Twitter and see how I'm getting on with my dramas. And I'll see you guys soon.